Many of the ideas we fought for that just a few years ago were considered radical are now mainstream.
If last night's speech by Bernie Sanders at the DNC National Convention showed anything, it's that he should have been the nominee all along. It was a fantastic speech by Bernie, fantastically delivered, but also chock full of a crucial message about America's present and America's future. Bernie's speech was the only one by the main political actors that included any whiff of actual policy. Everyone else talked about Joe Biden's character or what Joe Biden and Kamala Harris will represent, or that, you know, he's got the experience to be in the White House because he was already there via being vice president. All of that, I suppose, has value, even though I don't really trust Joe Biden's character per se. But the fact of the matter is, Bernie Sanders said, here are some of the things Joe Biden has said he's going to do, and here's how that's going to help working and middle class and marginalized people, and we're going to move forward from that. A lot of my viewers still don't trust Joe Biden, and maybe not even a great speech by Bernie Sanders can change their minds. I'm not really there either, to be honest. But the point is, if any one person last night sold anyone on Joe Biden who was undecided, I have to feel it was Bernie. I have to feel that the John Kasich speech really didn't move a whole lot of moderate Republicans, although he was truthful in saying Joe Biden is not really a leftist. But Bernie, I can see reaching a good amount of his skeptical supporters, his supporters not really sold on Biden and the DNC. Maybe not all of those people, but some of them. Because again, he said, look, here's 2 or 3 or 4 things that he plans to do that I support that are going to make lives better for regular people. That's something we can't ignore, and it's something that you should act upon. He also noted the danger of Donald Trump to democracy, basically saying democracy is at stake, basically saying that Trump is the 21st century Nero. You know, while the United States is engulfed, Donald Trump is golfing, right? Like, you know, it was a great line by Bernie Sanders. It was fantastically delivered. Michelle Obama's speech is getting a ton of attention, but Bernie Sanders really did steal the show from a policy perspective. Now, I have to also add, and this is why I think Bernie Sanders would have been the nominee, should have been the nominee, could have been the president, is that he connected Trumpism to broader flaws in American society more than anyone else did. A few other people in very, very veiled ways noted that, you know, we have to get back to pre-Trump, but also do better than pre-Trump. But the point is, with Bernie, he made it very clear. Trumpism was not the start of these major flaws. And Donald Trump, in many ways, revealed the flaws of the American Republic and is exploiting them to enact awful policies to basically move in a totalitarian direction. But Trump did not create these issues, did not create these flaws, did not create these distortions in a vacuum. He didn't create them at all. And so to build back better in Biden's parlance, you need to not only challenge what Donald Trump did, but what made him possible. And only Bernie really said that last night. And I believe that only Bernie Sanders' vision for America would actually get the job done. What Bernie said at the beginning of that speech, the clip I played in, he basically said, look, our ideas, which were radical in the recent past, 5 years ago, are now increasingly mainstream. And I know that's just a consolation right now because we still lost the primary. But ultimately, he's right. And ultimately, that genie's not going back in the bottle. Regular working class people, more and more now, are demanding the things that Bernie Sanders was basically fighting for on his own back in 2015 when his primary started. And now you have people like AOC and Cori Bush and Tlaib and Omar and so many others fighting alongside him. Young legislators in many cases ready to take on the torch for the next 30, 40, 50 years. You love to see it. This isn't going away. And it's also crucial to note that Bernie Sanders is the only one that has the actual solutions to the problems being raised last night. Look, the convention was full of schmaltzy platitudes that didn't actually convince anyone, or very many people, I think. But one thing they would often do correctly, which was very frustrating, is note the problems with Trump's America. Like Michelle Obama and so many others would note the racial and economic and social and environmental inequality of 2020 United States. They would basically say, look at the flaws of this country. Look at the flaws for African Americans, for poor people, for working people, for Hispanic people. And then they would just ignore the fact that in the corner is the man, the one man who ran for president that has all the solutions to those problems. And it isn't Joe Biden, it's Bernie Sanders. Look, Bernie endorsed Biden. Biden is the only one that can be an alternative to Donald Trump in this election. And I think it's perfectly reasonable for Bernie to make the case to elect Joe Biden. But all along, we know the truth. If we wanted to truly move on from the era of Donald Trump, Bernie Sanders was the only option. And if we have to have a partial move away from Trump, fine, but let people know this. And Bernie noted this in some of his interviews. The day Trump is out, that's when the fight really begins. Defeating Donald Trump is the appetizer. The main course is defeating Joe Biden's vision for America through protest, through primaries, and through pushing the ideology of democratic socialism that Bernie Sanders has championed for his entire adult life. The fight's just beginning, folks. And Bernie, guys, he's still a leader in that fight.